Channel 2S is brought to you by New Type HQ. Get your kits and supplies at the link in the description below. Not a ton to talk about today, but I figured there was maybe just barely enough that we could scrape together a stream out of it. After that big Gunpla event we had before, things have gone back to the usual state of absolutely nothing, so it's been a little quiet recently, but we have seen some more images and preview videos from Bandai themselves about some of their upcoming kits, as well as the release of a kit that I have been particularly looking forward to, so I thought now would be a good time to go ahead and go over all of that for ourselves. So right now, right here, we have the high-grade Gundam Low Booster. This is the box art for it. As is the case with all the previous G-Unit kits, it gets lovely retail high-grade style box art. Looks just as great as you would expect your standard HGUC kit to be. I love the effect work with the lightning and the beams coming out of the giant cannons on his shoulders. You can see a second version of the Low Booster flying around here. No cameo kits in the back. We don't see like a Hydra Gundam looming in the background or anything. No sort of teasers as to what kind of kits we might be seeing in the future. But overall, it's pretty cool box art. So here's the kit itself. It is very heavily based off the Geminis, probably more so than even the other G-Unit kits. I was a little bit hesitant to pre-order this because it is not a cheap model. Definitely not a cheap kit. But boy does he look like one. Let's talk about these stickers. So you can see this lovely white sticker wrapping around the back here that's not doing a particularly job of sticking down. Not doing a particularly good job, I guess you could say. There's also these red stickers on the outside of the wings out here looking like a early 2000s no grade. While I did have some issues with the generally cheapened construction of the Geminis and Asclepius, they had pretty decent color separation, and I don't remember them doing anything to this degree. $45 high grade, guys. This is what you get. This is it. This is definitely a kit you're going to want to paint. You're probably going to want to color match that red. It's a little bit of an off color. It's, as you can see, comparing to the feet here, it's not exactly your standard Gundam red. It seems like almost every sticker on this model is just the absolute worst kind of stickers imaginable. Because, you know, sometimes we get color separation stickers that are okay. A little bit of color here and there, nothing that wraps around, nothing that's curved, but it looks like almost every single sticker on this kit is some sort of little wing tip or stabilizer or otherwise tiny little piece of plastic that has 15 feet of sticker wrapped around it. Whether it's the wing tips out here with a sticker wrapped around them, or the wing tips up here with a sticker wrapped around them, the sticker wrapped around the front of the gun here, this sticker wrapped around here, they all look really bad. This guy's a painter for sure. We all have that one exception, right? The one where no matter how much Bandai tries to screw us over, no matter how crappy the kit ends up being, we'll buy it anyways just because we absolutely love that design. G-Unit is that Gundam series for me. Pretty much everything from G-Unit I will buy no matter how much Bandai tries to screw me in the process, but G-Unit is also one of the only things that I'm like that for. So that's a big part of why when it comes to some of the other kits they've announced and released recently, like the Engage Zero Gundam or whatever, I'm just not into them at all because it has the same cheap quality and general overpriced exclusive nature without being something that I literally have to have like the G-Unit kits. Now he does have some cool effect parts. I do like that they included these. I don't know if there's really that much more I could talk about here with the Low Booster. Next thing we got that's pretty cool is some updates on the Master Grade Zeta Verka. So this is something that Bandai does a lot with their new Verka releases, is they will put out a little kind of designer's editorial talking about some of the choices they made while designing the kit and the progress they're making as the model is in development. A lot of this is going to be in Japanese. I don't know if I'm going to translate all of it. I'm more so interested in the pictures we have here. Not really in-hand pictures, but these are pictures of like an actual prototype of it. I love the proportions on this model. I love the level of detail. It's pretty much exactly what I would have wanted from a model kit of the Zeta Gundam. And I think the best thing about the colors in these images so far at least is that I think the yellow looks a lot better here than it did before. Yes, it's not as dark of a kind of orangey cheese yellow as we might want, but I think how it looks in these pictures is a lot nicer than it was looking before. So anyways, let's talk about the Wave Rider, because this thing looks freaking great. Love the shaping of this. It looks really sleek. There's this nice kind of line you can follow this way. The leg mass is sort of shifted upwards in a way that gives it like this nice... It just looks good, man. I don't know. I don't have the words to describe it. I just think this looks really cool. Man, they nailed it. They really nailed this kit. I think there's a possibility of us getting a new Zeta Plus Master Grade from the Verka mold because there has been a little bit of a focus on Sentinel from Bandai lately. We got the Mark V, we got the Phas Verka, we got the Deep Striker, we got a new XS Gundam. I think there's a there's a good chance of us getting a new Zeta Plus. I think this is a good kit, but I think the price is a bit wrong for it. $70 for this is ridiculous when it doesn't come with the Mega Launcher. And no, I probably wouldn't display it with the Mega Launcher, but if you're going to charge me $20 more than the previous Zeta Master Grade that came with a Mega Launcher and a freaking launch catapult and all these other cool massive accessories, you gotta give me something. Strike Freedom time. Let's see what they got. This is an official video from Bandai Korea, so this model is not out yet, and let's see what they got. Okay, so first impression, the gold doesn't look that great. I was hoping that a lot more of like the shiny plated gold would be visible, but it seems like they're being very selective with where they use it. You can definitely see a lot of bronze gold around the collar, around the shoulders here, and just a little bit of plated gold here and there. Given the price of the model, I really was hoping they'd go a lot more all out with the plating. The plating on the wings looks nice at least. That actually doesn't look that bad. That initial first impression was a little jarring, but I think overall it looks okay. All right, he does come with an action base at least. That's cool. He's got the action base. He's got the 2 rifles. Now, stylistically, I think this thing looks absolutely gorgeous. I know this type of look isn't to everyone's liking, but I love how the Strike Freedom looks. The Strike Freedom is one of those mobile suits where it has to be excessive, and they made it look excessive. It actually reminds me a little bit of the metal build, which is ironic because I actually don't like the way the metal build looks very much, but there's something about this one where the exact way in which they over-detailed it makes it look good. That head sculpt looks so good. Look at how instead of just giving you the gray for the sides of the cheeks, they also have it extend into the vents here on the side. The gold plating on the V-fin, the Vulcans, the vents, that looks so good. That head sculpt right there is like 11 out of 10. My issue with the different shades of gold is that I think the placement of some of them is a little odd. Like, I don't hate this kind of copper gold color, and I don't think it's a bad color. I just don't know if I like it right here on the collar. I think it might have been better if they used a normal gold there, and then maybe use this copper color to accent a different part of the kit. There's certain areas of this kit where you look at them in a vacuum and they look amazing. Like the waist looks great, the torso looks great, the head looks great, but there's some parts of these arms where the non-plated gold just really brings it down. Legs look great, the side of the waist cannons look great, backpack looks good. Having taken a close-up look at every part of the body, I think the arms and these connector pieces for the backpack are the worst offenders when it comes to the non-plated gold. Look at those thrusters on the backpack. There's like a lavender trim around the outside, and then there's red on the inside, and then there's gold inside of that. There's 3 layers of color separation inside of these thrusters. The backs of his legs look fantastic. Like this gold running down through here, absolutely awesome. I don't know why they didn't make the elbows look as good as the knees. I can't believe they plated the undersides of the freaking skirt armor, but they didn't plate the elbow joints. Like, man, talk about priorities. The more I look at this kit from different angles, the more I realize that there's not a bad balance of different shades of metallics on this. It just comes down to where they're placed on the body that just makes it look so weird. Look at that just flash of gold that is revealed to you when they bend the leg. Kaboom. Man, that looks so good. I love it when they do stuff like this. Anytime they have a kit that has a really big, heavy backpack and they find a way to attach the stand connector that isn't just plugging in the bottom of the waist, makes me so happy. The way that the hinge works, this area is not directly contacting anything, and so they could plate this part. This part could be plated, and it would still look okay. Like if you look closely at the way this piece is designed, the outer section of the joint is already plated. This section already has plating on it, and it looks great. There's more friction applied to these pieces on the outside than there are to the inner pieces, because this piece has to rub against the armor on the bicep and the forearm, and yet they plated this, but this piece and this piece aren't directly contacting anything, and yet they're not plated at all. So I don't think it has to do with like rub points or contact or friction. I think it's just really weird choices regarding which parts are plated and which ones aren't. I'm actually wondering, I want to see how these side skirts fit together, because they've changed up the design of them a lot, so they're much fatter than they used to be, like front to back, so I'm wondering how they're going to look when they're folded up behind the back skirt. They're not showing these 2 cannons butted up against each other like they typically are. They're kind of spread out a bit more to look like back wings. That might be how you're going to have to display this kit. Let me see if I can find an example from a Strike Freedom kit that has more normal proportions so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. This is what I mean. This is a very common gimmick to see on Strike Freedom kits where with the normal Strike Freedom design, because these cannons are so slim and they have a flat bottom, you can literally butt them right up to each other flush. And it doesn't appear you can do that with the MGEX because of how much they flared out the bottoms of these. And honestly, at the end of the day, the reason I'm talking so much about things that I don't like about this kit isn't because there's a lot to dislike about this kit. It's because there's so much going on with this model and so much to talk about that just statistically there is going to be more things to complain about than a normal model, just because of how much is going on here. I think on the whole, this is still an amazing looking kit. Look at how much force he uses to yank that thing off. And yet it's not scratching up, so whatever they're using for a finish seems to be pretty durable. Oh, that's so cool. He's got a little automorph gimmick in the shoulder. That is so sick. Man, what a cool gimmick to put in the most normal and innocuous part of a mobile suit design. He's got them all over the body. That's so cool. I'm gonna have to get one of these. This thing looks so cool. Next thing we got here is some Gundam base exclusives. Now, after the absolute masterpiece that was that MGEX Strike Freedom, these are going to be a little bit underwhelming as something to end the stream on, but hey, they're here, we might as well talk about them. So here we have an extra finished version of the Re-100 Yak Doga. Looks absolutely gorgeous in these pictures. I'm sure it's going to have nubs everywhere because as far as I know, this kit was not undergated. If it is, cool. However, I highly doubt they preemptively undergated this since there's not really any variants of the Yak Doga that require plating, and that's usually the only time they do that. Then we have a 21st century real type version of Sharzaku, and these are based off those old 21st century real type model kits. The coolest thing about these kits really is that the box art actually is designed to recreate the original box art for these kits. The previous real type kits have been in the color scheme that the model kit was originally intended to be in. However, it seems like with Sharzaku, instead of making it the colors that it was supposed to be, they made it into the actual plastic color of the original model. You look at this and it has that kind of super glossy, really plasticky pinkish red look that a lot of the old Char kits had for their plastic. And if that's what they were going for, which I'm assuming they are, they absolutely nailed it. This 100% looks like some crappy no grade from the 90s. But then they did kind of this weird contrast thing with it where most of the plastic has that kit look, but then there's also parts of it that are plated silver. So it's kind of a weird combination. I'm not really sure what they were trying to go for here, but it's certainly a very interesting looking Sharzaku. I like the decals on it as well. This is one of those things where if I was physically at Gundam Base and I saw this in the store, I might pick it up on a whim, but this is not something I would go out of my way to track down. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like. This video was recorded from one of my live streams. I usually try to stream around 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 6 or 7 in the evening Eastern Standard Time. If you want to make sure you don't miss the next stream or any future videos I upload, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I'd like to also extend a thank you to my patrons for helping make this channel possible, and a special thank you to my Master Grade tier patrons like Yank. If you want to join the Patreon yourself, you will gain access to cool features like full archives of past streams and early access to some new videos. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'm your host Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.